Announced several new COVID-19 mandates yesterday, including businesses mandating vaccines, testing, and affordable at-home COVID test kits, just to name a few. 9 News health expert Dr. Payal Kohli joins me now to give her perspective on all of these new mandates. Good morning. Thanks for coming in.
Hi, good morning, Corey.
So, overall perspective on the new mandates.
You know, I'm thrilled. I actually think it was too long for this to come. We should have had it over the summer when we saw the vaccinations really dropping off. But I think the administration had tried to really present the opportunity to give incentives, and now they're coming down with a stick instead of with the carrot. So I think it's a perfect thing to do, and I do think it's going to make an impact. But I have to say, Americans also have to change their mindset.
Yeah.
Because as long as we keep resisting this, even if we're forcing people to do it, we're going to see that the rates are just not as high as we want them to be.
And testing is a big part of the president's plan in schools and then in places of employment as well. What is your take on testing at this point in the pandemic?
Do you remember testing? I feel like we've forgotten about it, you know? We're not talking about testing, and testing is such an important strategy to control the spread of this virus. And I want to be clear that testing and vaccinations are two different strategies. One doesn't replace the other. One, testing is damage control, whereas vaccination is prevention. So we need to use both strategies. And, you know, my dream or vision for what we should be doing is every single one of us should have a whole bunch of rapid kits at home, and every morning when we leave our house we should be testing ourselves to see. That's the level of testing we need to get to really contain this virus.
You know, we've talked so much about kids in school, and kids are back in school now. I know a lot of parents have been kind of waiting for some more direction on when their kids might get a vaccine that are younger than 12. What's the latest that you've heard?
So we heard an update last night from Dr. Fauci that by the end of September, early October, we may have data for the Pfizer vaccine, which is about 2 weeks ahead of the Moderna vaccine, which will probably come in late October. But the big question is going to be whether or not the FDA does emergency use authorization for kids, which is that emergency approval, or they want to wait for the full approval, which takes obviously a lot longer. Because remember, the risk benefit in kids is a little bit different.
Right.
But now with schools opening, maybe that's shifted. We're seeing more cases occurring in kids. So it'll be interesting to see what the FDA decides to do, whether to emergency use authorize it, which could come as early as the middle of next month, or whether they would like to wait for the full approval.
We could be weeks away, maybe months away.
That's
okay.
right.
Well, at least there was an update for parents who are looking for that.
And I'm
Dr.
sure you're
Kohli, thank
thinking
you.
about this for your little ones.
Oh, mine are so young. Oh my goodness. But I know that, you know, this has been a conversation with a lot of parents, you know, and it's hard to get updated information. I think part of it is just because they don't know, like you said, like even last night, here's the update, but we're still not really quite sure.
Still a question mark. Yeah.
All right. Dr. Kohli, thank you.